Alright, well, I'm not sure if you can see a title screen, so I'm going to basically jump right into the game, so we can basically get into what's going on here. So, new game. Click. Alright, so, and when they knew the Earth was doomed, they built a ship. Less like an ark, more like a seed, dormant but with potential. In its heart, 1,000 colonists in frozen sleep, chosen and trained to start civilization again on a new world. To control the ship, they created an artificial intelligence. Not human, but made to think and feel like one, because only something that thought and felt like a human could be entrusted with the future of the human race. Its task is momentous, but simple. To evaluate each planet the ship encounters and decide where to keep searching or end its journey there. The ship's solar sails propel it faster and faster into the darkness, and the AI listens as the transmissions from ground control fade and then cease. When all is quiet, it enters hibernation to wait out the first stage of its long journey. After millennia of slow travel, the Seedship AI awakes. Hoping against hope, it trains its receiver on the direction of Earth's sun, but it is as silent as any of the other myriad dead stars. Save for the 1,000 frozen colonists cradled in its shielding and life support systems, the human race is now extinct. Any damage or malfunctions during the journey should have woken the AI from its hibernation, but it is still anxious as it runs its self-diagnostic programs. The sleep chambers are all functioning, the colonists within them alive, or at least capable of being revived from their frozen stasis. Sensors functioning, surface probes responding. Landing and construction systems ready for one time they will be used. Scientific and cultural databases intact, safely storing all that remains of humanity's knowledge and art. Alright, let's scan the planet. The Seedship is in orbit of the sixth moon of a gas giant, orbiting a white dwarf star. Even a brief scan from orbit reveals far more information than its builders could have known from their Earth orbit-based telescopes. But the AI has little use for scientific curiosity. It has only one concern, whether this planet will make a suitable new home for the human race. Alright, looking at this planet, basically it's got a marginal atmosphere, it's got very high gravity, it's got cold temperature, it's got trace water, and very little resources, so probably not a good place. It does have some anomalies like vegetation and animal life, but whatever. Let's move on. The AI judges the first planet to be unsuitable. It turns the scanners away, spreads its solar sails, and begins another long journey through the void. Continue. The AI awakes to find that the Seedship's course is curving sharply through the darkness of space, as if caught in the gravity well of a star. The source of the gravity is invisible to the scanners, but there is only one thing it could be: a black hole. It is already too late to escape the gravity well without pushing the main engine well past the safety limit, which could damage any of the ship's systems. Alternatively, the AI calculates that ejecting 39 sleep chambers would lighten the ship enough that the engine's normal thrust would take it out of danger. Alright, so, in this game we basically have a choice. Every so often we basically go through space. Do I basically risk many of my systems here? Or do I eject a few of the colonists here for the good of many? I think, right now it's probably a good idea to push the engines past the safety limits. Let's just do that. Poof. The AI commands the engine to exceed its maximum output, ignoring its electronic screams of protest. Small explosions shake the ship as components collapse under the strain. Once the ship is safely coasting away from the black hole, the AI can assess the damage. If it finds out that the engine overload has damaged its construction system and surface probes. So basically our construction system has been damaged quite a bit from that, but otherwise, everything else is A-okay. And we have all our colonists still. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of the 9th planet of a blue giant star. This system has a dense asteroid belt, which appears as a throng of stars sliding slowly across the sky. Its atmosphere is non-breathable, its gravity is low, it's got very cold temperature, it's got an ice-covered surface, and it's got no resources. No anomalies either. I think we're moving on. The AI wakes to a radiation alert. The death burst of a distant supernova is flooding the Seedship's electronics with random signals. The data storage system is malfunctioning, and in a few moments part of the scientific database will be lost. The Seedship could avoid the malfunction by shutting down all its electronics until the radiation has passed, but that would leave it without working collision avoidance system for dangerous lengths of time. So, do I risk the scientific database, or do I risk the entire ship? Well, let's just risk the entire ship. Don't shut down. The AI keeps its focus on the collision avoidance system, while parts of the scientific damage are overridden with garbage. So basically, we didn't shut down things, and as a result, our scientific damage here took some, damage, but only 1%, so that's fine. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of the third planet of a blue supergiant star. A small black hole orbits the star, pulling a thin streamer of star stuff from its surface, which spirals into nothing. And yeah, everything is red. It does have a moon of geological anomalies, but we're moving on. As it moves from star to star, the Seedship is gathering more data about the extrasolar planets than its builders could give it. It is designed to learn from this data in order to predict which stars are likely to have desirable planets. The Seedship has now gathered enough data to upgrade one of its sensors to work at interstellar distances, so the guidance system can avoid planets that the sensor reveals to be undesirable. Damage to the sensor may still result in the Seedship arriving at an unsuitable planet. Alright, so I basically upgraded my systems so that, they work better at long range. Let's see here. Let's upgrade the atmosphere scanner so we basically have, air to breathe. Pop! And now we have a 1 there for an upgrade. The AI wakes to a wall of blinding brightness. The Seedship's course has taken it close to a supergiant star that has proved to be far harder than the guidance system anticipated, and the ship is gathering heat faster than the radiator fins can radiate away. The AI must shut down a part of its heat regulation system before the entire system catastrophically fails. So, we can allow the sleep chambers to overheat, we can allow our scanner modules to overheat, we can allow the landing and construction modules to overheat, or we can allow the data storage modules to overheat. I think we'll go with the scanner module this time, so let's do that. The AI channels excess heat into the scanner module. The heat regulation system recovers as the ship moves away from the super hot star, but not before the heat has damaged the atmosphere scanner. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of the 7th planet of a red dwarf star. This star is one of dozens orbiting a massive black hole that looms in the distance like a malevolent eye. So, it's got marginal atmosphere, it's got moderate gravity, it's got very cold temperature, it's got ice caps for water, and it's got no resources. Not a bad planet, but I think we could probably do better than that. So, let's move on. As the Seedship enters the new system's outer comet, and yeah, I'll note by the way that there is no music or sound in this game, so yeah, basically my headset will shut down from time to time, but whatever. As the Seedship enters the new system's outer cometary cloud, the collision avoidance system detects a fast-moving comet surrounded by a cloud of smaller ice fragments. The large comet is on a collision course with the landing system. The Seedship could avoid it entirely, but it would then hit one of the smaller fragments, and the collision avoidance system cannot predict which part of the system that fragment would hit. So, I think we'll allow it to hit the landing system, just so we don't, we know where the damage is going. Boom! The comet shatters against the landing system, crushing vital components. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of a second moon of a gas giant orbiting a white dwarf star. The Seedship has found its way almost to the edge of the galaxy, and the universe appears split between a wall of darkness and a wall of light. Alright, so yeah, not the greatest for planets, basically marginal atmosphere, very low gravity, cold temperature, trace water, poor resources. Yeah, we'll move on. The AI is woken from its hibernation by a possible malfunction warning. but a systems check reveals that is a false alarm. Far from the nearest star, the AI spends some time admiring the cold beauty of the Milky Way, as revealed by its navigation sensors, before returning to hibernation to wait for its arrival in the next system. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of the ninth planet of a main sequence star. A small black hole orbits the star, pulling a thin streamer of star stuff from its surface, which spirals into nothing. Alright, so there's a Martial atmosphere and a very high gravity. It's got very hot temperature, it's got oceans, and it's got poor resources. It does have possible structures and vegetation, but yeah, let's move on. I want more green here. Alright, so we have enough data to upgrade one of our sensors. I think this time, let's upgrade our water scanner. Boom! A minor power fluctuation in one of the sleep chambers wakes the AI from hibernation. It fixes the malfunction easily, but in the course of doing so, it notices another anomaly. The colonist's vital signs do not match those of the identity on file for that chamber. The AI searches databanks for information on a mysterious colonist, and finds some in an unexpected place: the historical files and the cultural database. The colonist is a former dictator who headed a brutally oppressive regime in one of Earth's nations for decades before being deposed and going into hiding. Not only that, but the AI detects hidden programming connected with the sleep chamber that would give the dictator full control over all of the Seedship systems immediately after landing. With those protocols, the dictator could easily take over a new colony as soon as it was founded. Do we let him sleep, or do we eject him? Let's try ejecting him. It is difficult for the AI to deliberately end the life of a human being, but ejects it as necessary in this instance. The dictator's frozen body spins away into interstellar space before coup unceremoniously ended before it could begin. Alright, we disposed of the dictator before he had a chance to live again. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of the fifth planet of a main sequence star. This system is very close to a star-forming region, which is visible as a glowing cloud that fills half the sky. It's got a breathable atmosphere and moderate gravity, but it's got very hot temperature, a planet-wide ocean, and poor resources. It's not terrible, but again, I think we can do better. So let's move on. The Seedship is decelerating on its approach to the next system when it detects an unusual thick volume of interstellar dust in its path. Passing through the dust would likely mean several high-velocity collisions with dust particles. The AI could execute an emergency course change to avoid the dust, but then the Seedship would pass the system by and arrive at an effectively random one without benefiting from an upgrade to its scanners. Emergency course change, I think. Let's do it. The AI rotates the ship and fires the main engine. It speeds safely past the dust cloud and the original target system, and decelerates towards the first system it finds on its new course. Continue. The Seedship enters orbit of the third planet of a blue giant star. This system is in an area of dense interstellar dust, which hides most of the brightness of the Milky Way. The Seedship went off course during its last journey, so the guidance system was not able to use its upgraded scanners when selecting its planet. But despite that, we got a good one. The atmosphere is breathable, the gravity is high, and the temperature is hot, but there's oceans of water and there's rich resources. It's also got vegetation and possible structures. Let's launch the surface probe and see what's down there. The surface probe sensors confirm the readings of the ship's orbital scanners. So basically everything is as it is. The probe finds alien planets. It tests a sample and finds that some of them would be edible for humans. The probe investigates some of the possible structures that the Seedship observed from orbit, and finds that they are ruins left by a vanished intelligent species. The ruins contain functioning defense systems, and the probe barely escapes. The surface probe's mission is complete, and it shuts down. Alright, I have a choice. Do I found a colony here, or do I move on? Those dangerous ruins could probably be a hazard to my colonists, but the edible plants would benefit them, and everything else is pretty decent for what it is. I think we'll found a colony here. This decision is a culmination of the AI's existence, and it cannot be made lightly. Founding a colony will end the Seedship's journey and make this planet humanity's new home. Confirm? Yes. The damaged landing system cannot completely control the Seedship's descent, and it suffers some damage when it splashes down into the ocean off the shore of one of the planet's continents. The surviving colonists wake from their sleep chambers and survey their new home. Fields of squat, thick-limbed alien plants stretch away beneath the blue sky. They build a memorial to the 78 colonists who did not survive the journey, and named the new world Arcadia, because of its lush plant life. So yeah, basically I'll note that because we basically crash landed into like the world, we took some damage there. Our colonists, basically some of them died. We basically have damage to all our scanners here and a surface probe. Everything else took a little bit of damage as well. Now, note by the way that it's actually describing that we have like, squat, thick-limbed alien plants because basically it's a high-gravity world, so, on a high-gravity world, obviously things will be a little bit more closer to like, the plant. Alright, and we got a name Arcadia because of all the lush plant life. The colonists begin constructing a settlement with the aid of a Seedship's damaged construction robots. They can leave the ship without breathing gear, wearing protective clothing to withstand the scorching heat. But 44 colonists die of overheating when a cooling system fails. The high gravity makes the work more difficult, and the 42 colonists are killed when partially complete buildings collapse. They build their settlement near a river that flows into one of the planet's oceans, and farm the native plants for food. With their settlement complete, and food supply secured, the colonists mount an expedition to nearby ruins. The explorers trigger a long dormant defense mechanism, which kills 237 colonists, leaving us only a little bit under 600 here. The planet is rich in metals and other resources, and a damaged scientific database still contains much information on how to make use of them. The colonists fail to maintain their advanced computers, but continue to use simpler electronics and machines. Although parts of the cultural database are missing, it still contains much historical information to instruct the colonists in building of their society, and much art and literature to inspire them. The losses sustained by the colonists make building a new society more difficult. The surviving cultural database is preserved in digital files to which all colonists have access. The colonists attempt to build a democratic capitalist society, but the government becomes a pawn of wealthy corporations which rule the planet for their own benefit. Continue. Alright, so here's the final score. We basically visit a total of 8 planets. For our basically troubles in finding this planet, we basically had 500 for, the best possible atmosphere, water, and resources. We had only 250 for a partially good gravity and temperature scores. We basically had 922 survivors landing on the surface, so we got score for that. And after everyone died, we basically had 599 for that. Our final technology level was the atomic age. So a little bit before the information age we're in right now, but, not bad. And the final culture is ruled by corporations, so corporosity y'all. Our surviving database times 10 was 820, culture database is times 10, and we got a total score of 8,071, which is pretty decent. And back to the title screen I go. Alright, I'm not sure if you can basically see a title screen here, but this is basically Seedship. And as you can see, it's basically it's basically as you can see, a post-apocalyptic type of scenario for Earth, where basically we're sending out, a single ship to basically try and restart the human civilization elsewhere in the galaxy. And you know what? Let's try and play another round of it, I guess. So you can basically see some the different things that happen in this game. So new game. Now we've already seen the intro, so let's skip it. Alright, so the Seedship is in orbit of the 9th planet of a blue giant star. Even a brief scan from orbit reveals blah blah about all this stuff. So basically we're going to be looking for the best planets to try and settle here. And as we go along, we basically want to try and find planets that have very little of these red signifiers here, and lots of green, and possibly a little bit of yellow. Anomalies can also be very beneficial, but they're hit and miss sometimes. This planet is okay for what it is, but I really don't like to have any planet with a red thing in it, so let's move on. And by the way, I'll note by the way, the sooner you settle, sometimes that's better for your score. So you do get score for basically having your Seedship more or less intact, because of like the scientific and cultural and the colonists that are basically there. So that's something to weigh in with, like, selling plants, but whatever. Let's move on. So we judge the first one to be unsuitable and move on. Continue. Alright, you got yourself a radiation alert from a distant supernova. So basically if I shut down the system, this will actually cause us I'm flying blind. So we could take damage, like, to our ship if something hits us. So, but who knows? Let's see. The AI shuts down all ship systems and then itself. When it comes back online, the radiation has passed, and to its relief, a system check reveals no damage. So yeah, basically, like, this time around, we took no damage. Perfect system, perfect, score for our luck. And a lot of these are luck-based, by the way, because you can have good moments and bad moments basically happen in them, just so you guys know. Alright, so this planet here has no resources. And then it has, like, yellows and one green. It's not bad again, but it could be better, so let's move on. The AI wakes to find that the Seedship's course is curving sharply toward darkness of space, so we basically found our black hole. Let's jettison 29 sleep chambers this time around. Sacrificing some of its charges to save the rest is painful for the AI, but it's a decision that it desires prepared it to make. It selects 29 sleep chambers at random and decouples them from the ship. They and their unlucky occupants spiral towards the black hole's event horizon, while the rest of the Seedship pushes itself free. Continue. Alright, we've entered the orbit of a gas giant orbiting a red giant star. This time we got toxic atmosphere, we got very low gravity, we have hot temperature, we got a planet-wide ocean, and we got rich resources. We're moving on. As it moves from star to star, basically we're getting more, like, information here. Let's upgrade our resource scanner this time around. Boom! As it enters the new system, the Seedship is struck by a micrometeorite. It is a speck of cosmic dust, far too small for the navigation system to detect from a distance, but traveling with enough velocity to pierce the Seedship's armor like a bullet. It hits the cultural database, sending fragments of machinery glittering into space. So sometimes you have, like, this unmanageable, like, events like this that just happen, so boom. We took damage to our cultural database. Continue. Alright, so. Ooh. There's a lot of anomalies in this planet. It's got marginal atmosphere, it's got very high gravity and very cold temperatures, and it's got an ice-covered surface, but it's got rich resources, and possibly there could be something down here. I don't think we'll be selling on this planet, but let's launch the surface probe to see what's down here. So we confirm our sensors, readings. It's got poisonous plants. That'll kill our people if we put them down there, so definitely want to avoid this place. It's got animal life. It's neither useful nor harmful to humans. Oh, it's got a civilization down there. The probe investigates some of the possible structures that the Seedship observed from orbit, and finds that there are cities inhabited by intelligent species with an information age level technology. The population enjoys life of culture and leisure, with automated machines taking care of their material needs. So here is basically, like, a post-scarcity utopia. If I sat down here, I could probably assimilate into, like, this, like, civilization, but who knows? Now, here's the question. Is this like a planet-spanning population? Who knows? It's a wonder, I wonder. The probe conducts a high-altitude survey and finds semblance and signs of intelligent activity everywhere it looks. It seems that there's no part of the planet untouched by a native civilization. That's to be expected, though, by the way. With, like, such an advanced civilization, they must be all over the planet. Continue. Alright, the surface probe's mission is complete and it shuts down. So, someone's already here. And it's not the best planet. Sometimes it's good to have, like, aliens to basically interact with, but, do we really want to? I suppose for the purpose of basically, like, discovery, let's do so. Let's found a colony. So, confirm. The native civilization hastily launched a spacecraft to guide the Seedship down, while natives on the ground prepare a landing area. The landing system controls the Seedship's descent, and it touches gently down on top of the planet's wide ice sheet. The surviving colonists wake from their sleep chambers and survey their new home. Level fields of alien moss stretch away beneath a pale blue sky. The Seedship is quickly surrounded by an encampment of native soldiers, scientists, and diplomats. The two species manage to achieve communication, and the colonists learn that the natives called their planet Nenanon. The colonists began constructing a settlement with the aid of their Seedship's construction robots. The planet's native inhabitants keep the newcomers under careful guard, but also help them by setting up temporary shelters and clearing the land. They can leave the ship wearing minimal breathing gear and heated suits to survive in near absolute zero temperature. The crushing gravity means that they can barely move without mechanical assistance. They build their settlement on top of ice covering the planet's surface, which they can mine for water. The planet's plant life is extremely poisonous to humans, and 151 colonists die before they can clear away from the settlement. Continue. As they construct the colony's shelters, the humans and the aliens try to establish communication with one another. The humans have the surrounding historical information and a cultural database to guide them, and natives' culture makes them welcoming toward the refugees. Sometimes this can be hostile, by the way. Natives grant the humans asylum on their planet, and the refugees become an immigrant subculture within the alien civilization. Although parts of the cultural database are missing, it still contains a clear picture of a human civilization's history and cultures. The losses sustained by the colonists make it more difficult for them to preserve their culture. The growing human community retains a strong sense of identity and history, and human influence enriched the native civilization. The natives and colonists work together to translate the Seedship's scientific database into natives' language. Although native scholars read the database of interest, it teaches them little that they do not already know. Nenon's level fields of alien moss stretch away beneath a pale blue sky. The colonists live in their own communities within the natives' low, sprawling cities of steel and glass under airtight domes, on top of the planet's wide ice shield. They spend their time pursuing art, leisure, and spiritual fulfillment, while automatic machines take care of their material needs. At the Seedship's landing site stands a monument to the 29 colonists who didn't survive the journey, and the 150 more who died during the first settlement, and the Seedship AI that guided humanity to its new home. Alright, this time we basically visit 4 planets. Because basically there is terrible conditions for gravity and temperature, we only had like 0 score for these ones, but we did get score for the other ones there. I got more score for like, the stars that basically lived all the way through the journey, as well as like, for those who lived after the construction. And because of basically we're in like, our found technology of information age, we get more, score for that. And because basically we interacted with the natives without them like, killing us, we got a nice bonus to that as well. Because the natives had a better like culture in us, we basically had a boost to that. And as you can see, we got a terribly fantastic score of 10,221. So, pretty good. So yeah, this is a game that can be quickly played over and over again. And it basically, like, it's a nice little game, basically, to, like, sort of, like, give you the experience of basically trying to find, like, a new planet for, like, Earth to basically colonize. And I really liked it for what it was. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it, and take care.